Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a tech story that is honestly unlike anything else out there. We're diving into the dramatic 70-year saga of artificial intelligence. It's a true Phoenix narrative. Because this isn't a story of some smooth, predictable upward climb. Not at all. It's been a wild ride of massive hype, devastating collapses, and quiet, stubborn perseverance that has ultimately completely reshaped our world. All right, let's just jump right in with a pretty staggering number. 1 million. Just hold that number in your head for a second, because the context behind it is absolutely crucial to understanding our modern world. That 1 million? That is exactly how many users a certain conversational AI chatbot reached in just 5 days. 5 days. I mean, right after its public release back in late November of 2022, it went from absolute zero to 1 million users faster than almost anyone could even comprehend. And the sheer unprecedented speed of that adoption becomes even crazier when you look at the broader race to 100 million users. To hit that 100 million monthly active users mark, it took this AI roughly 2 months. Now, compare that to the social media giants. TikTok took about 9 months to hit that same milestone. Instagram, 2.5 years. This adoption curve just completely crushed the giants. You see, unlike previous AI milestones that really only mattered to a few tech insiders, this moment brought AI directly into our daily lives faster than almost any consumer tech in history. Part 1, the question that started it all. But to really understand this absolute explosion we're living through right now, we have to transition all the way back to the 1950s. Actually, let me rephrase that. It started with a question, not a machine. In 1950, the brilliant mathematician and World War II codebreaker Alan Turing proposed this iconic question: can machines think? He came up with what we now call the Turing test, arguing that if a machine's conversation could successfully fool a human into thinking it was a human too, well, it counted as intelligent. And that simple question created this massive ripple effect. Just 6 years later, in 1956, scientists at Dartmouth College officially coined the term artificial intelligence. They were incredibly optimistic, genuinely believing that human-level reasoning machines were just a single generation away. So, as you can imagine, hopes absolutely soared across the scientific community. Part 2, the brutal AI winters. Unfortunately, the actual tech at the time just couldn't match the incredible hype scientists had generated. This total disconnect between expectations and reality plunged the entire industry into these dark, severely defunded periods that we now know as the AI winters. The crucial breaking point was this devastating conclusion from the 1973 Lighthill report from the UK government. They bluntly stated that AI research had failed to deliver on its grand promises. And as a direct result of that brutal assessment, funding on both sides of the Atlantic completely dried up, sparking the very first AI winter from 1974 to 1980. The professional fallout was so severe that researchers were actually embarrassed by the stigma. Many of them literally dropped the term artificial intelligence from their resumes entirely just to stay employable. Which is, frankly, hilarious when you think about today's landscape, right? Every company right now is desperately trying to slap the letters AI onto their names and products. Despite that initial crash, AI did make a brief, highly expensive comeback in the 1980s. This was a narrower, more practical era of expert systems that mimicked human decision-making in specialized fields like medicine. But it didn't last. By 1987, the market collapsed again, and major funders like DARPA pulled their money back, plunging the field straight into a second AI winter that dragged on until roughly 1993. So why did that second crash happen? Well, those 1980s expert systems ran on wildly expensive, highly specialized hardware known as Lisp machines. But they were totally outpaced and made completely obsolete by the rapid rise of much cheaper general-purpose computers. Basically, the hardware market for AI just fell right out from under them. Part 3, sparks in the dark. Following that second winter, going into the late 90s and early 2000s, the field kind of faded from mainstream attention yet again. But a few quiet sparks stubbornly refused to die out. Now, the world did get one massive spectacle in 1997, when IBM's Deep Blue defeated world chess champion Garry Kasparov on live television. This was huge. It was the first time a global audience watched a machine outthink the best human alive at something considered a pinnacle of intellect. But even after that amazing milestone, the spotlight faded. Meanwhile, a small, quiet group of researchers kept working on a highly unfashionable, seemingly impractical older idea: neural networks. Loosely modeled on how neurons in the human brain connect and fire, these networks had been considered for decades to be way too slow and totally impractical for any real-world use.
Part 4. The deep learning breakthrough.
So, for decades, those neural networks were completely dismissed by the wider community. But then, everything flipped overnight in 2012. A neural network called AlexNet entered a major image recognition competition and just absolutely crushed every traditional AI approach. How'd they do it? The creators used GPUs, graphics processing units, originally built for rendering video games, to train the network unbelievably fast. This single, highly impressive result convinced the wider tech industry that deep learning was the real deal, and it triggered a massive wave of renewed investment that really hasn't stopped since. That single GPU breakthrough triggered relentless, across-the-board acceleration. In 2016, AlphaGo mastered Go, this highly intuitive board game defeating one of the greatest players in history, Lee Sedol, live on camera. Experts literally thought we were decades away from that happening. And during the same period, a different branch of AI was advancing quietly: large language models. We saw GPT-1 in 2018, GPT-2 in 2019, all the way to the massive GPT-3 in 2020. GPT-3 was large enough to write essays, answer questions, and generate code with a fluency that felt, honestly, genuinely human.
Part 5. The unprecedented explosion.
That quiet evolution of language models directly set the stage for the massive, unprecedented explosion of consumer tech we are living in right now. The pace is just relentless. We've rapidly moved from systems that just answer simple text prompts to what we call agentic AI. These are systems that don't just answer questions, they actually plan and carry out multi-step tasks completely independently. From browsing the web to writing and running their own code, it has kicked off a frantic race among nearly every major tech company on the planet to build faster, more capable, and autonomous systems.
Part 6. Why AI succeeded this time.
Looking back at this entire rollercoaster history, you have to ask, why is AI suddenly succeeding now, after crashing so hard during those bitter winters? Well, it comes down to a perfect storm of 3 distinct pillars converging for the very first time this decade. Pillar 1 is digital data. We finally have massive amounts of digital information available for these systems to actually learn from. Pillar 2 is compute. We now possess the powerful and, importantly, affordable computing hardware, like those video game GPUs we talked about, that can actually process all of that massive data efficiently. And finally, Pillar 3, refined neural networks. These are the underlying techniques capable of taking that data and that compute and using both together effectively. You see, earlier eras of AI research had the great ideas, but they lacked the data and the compute to make them work. Now that we have all 3, progress that used to take decades is happening in mere months. Looking at the big picture here, it is just truly remarkable. A single human lifetime separates Alan Turing's original 1950 question from today's reasoning AI systems that are often indistinguishable from human effort. This field survived 2 distinct periods of being totally written off, returning each time from the ashes, built on ideas developing quietly in the background. AI's entire 70-year history is defined by this exact pattern: long, quiet stretches followed by sudden, dramatic leaps forward. That pattern has defined AI from the very beginning, and researchers expect it to keep defining the future. So, as we wrap up this explainer, I'm going to leave you with this one thought to ponder. If this is what a leap looks like today, what happens next?